Good day, yogis, and welcome back onto the mat with me for today's Yin Yoga sequence, which is all about opening the heart. So some back bends and chest openers, working the pectorals, and just resetting the posture after a long day of possibly sitting behind a desk or just feeling as though you really feel hunched over and that you want to open up and release into this front area of the body. So for this practice today, you're going to need to grab hold of a couple of yoga blocks, if you've got any, or a big book. I'm also going to pop in the description of this video where you can get yoga blocks. Again, Monet also does sell some props, but if you specifically want to get cork yoga blocks, then I'm going to pop in the description where you can get these online. And then also you're going to need your bolster, and I'm sure maybe some of you have already invested in one now. Again, I'll pop this in the description on where you can grab hold of these life-changing tools for your Yin Yoga practice. So grab your mat, grab your props, and let's get to it by bringing the palms together to touch. Begin to rub your palms together, generating some warmth between your hands, and then resting your hands into heart center, connecting inward and allowing yourself to fully arrive in your space, beginning to inhale and exhale through the nose. Lower your shoulders away from your ears as you lengthen up from the base of your spine. Allowing yourself some moments just to settle in, to arrive fully, to feel into your body, noticing any pockets of tension, and being very compassionate with your practice today. So really being mindful of what you're asking your body to do. And whatever you're met with as you move into the postures, just allow yourself to be wherever you are and to accept. Take another deep inhale. And as you exhale, slowly lower your hands down to your knees with your palms to face upward. Checking in once more to see if your shoulders are drifted away from your ears. And that you've got length through the spine, all the way from the base, all the way up and out through the crown of your head. Beginning to take note of sounds in your environment. To take note of your breath as you deeply inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, you can slowly flutter your eyes open, coming back into the space you're in. And we're going to move straight into the first of our Yin postures, which is called Melting Heart. It's also known as Puppy Pose in Hatha Yoga. So we're going to start off by finding ourselves in Tabletop. So Tabletop position, the knees are stacked underneath the hips. The wrists are stacked underneath the shoulders. Take a moment here, finding a neutral spine. Let's take a couple of cat-cow just to warm up through the spinal back body for just 3 rounds. So inhale, drop the belly gaze forward. Exhale, pull navel to spine, chin to chest. Inhale, drop belly gaze forward. And exhale, pull navel to spine, chin to chest. Last one, inhale, and exhale. Coming into a neutral space, we're going to walk the hands all the way to the top of the mat, and then press back, dropping the forehead down towards the ground. You can relax the hands down onto the mat for a moment as you adjust here. If your head does not come down to the ground, this is where you can grab hold of one of your blocks, and you can rest the forehead onto the block. So again, whatever you need here in terms of props, please take it. So relaxing the forehead down here, stepping the elbows in towards the head, drawing the hands back into the nape of the neck, hands in prayer, And then allowing yourself to melt down here. So this is the first of our yin postures, remembering that yin is a long hold of postures practice where we work into the connective tissues, the ligaments and the fascia. So allow yourself to settle down into the ground as you deeply inhale and exhale. Breathing deeply as you allow yourself to melt down, softening your whole body into the ground. Just checking in with your posture, making sure that you are at the edge of a 5 or a 7, up to a 7 out of 10 and not more. And then breathing deeply into the shape as you allow your body to melt, to open, to release. Sinking down into the ground, breathing into the full and open chest cavity. Allowing yourself a last few deep breaths in melting heart pose. Slowly dropping your hands down onto the mat, pressing your palms into the ground, walking your hands back in towards your knees, taking a moment there, just feeling into your body, feeling what is presented for you here. You can gently drop your buttocks towards your heels, coming into a very gentle counter pose. So taking it very slow, drop your forehead down, wrap the arms around the body. So holding or bringing fingers to touch the feet. Take a few breaths here through the back body. Just experiencing what is presented. And then on your next exhale, you can slide your hands forward once more, drop down onto the elbows and coming into Sphinx Pose. So Sphinx Pose, we're taking a gentle arch through the lower back. We're flattening the feet onto the ground. And for today's Sphinx Pose, we're going to rest our forehead onto a block. So you can just bring a block or a book, whatever you've got, just in front of the head. Your elbows are stacked underneath the shoulders here. And you're going to rest the forehead onto the block. And just allow yourself now once more to settle into this variation of a Sphinx Pose, taking all strain off the neck and breathing deeply into the chest. Softening through the buttocks, softening the shoulders away from the ears, taking a few big sighs. As you allow yourself to feel into this posture. This is a beautiful way of restoring the posture to open up through the chest and the back body. after having taken a couple of minutes here, you have the option to either stay in Sphinx Pose or join me as I move into Seal, which is a little bit more of an advanced posture. So within the next few seconds, we're going to shift the hands out to the edges of your mat, and then pressing the palms into the ground on your next inhale, you're going to raise up and gaze forward. So still maintaining this beautiful alignment of the chest open, breathing into the body. Taking a minute here in Seal Pose. Breathing deeply as we create space and freedom in the upper body. We're targeting the kidney meridian, the solar plexus and heart and throat chakra. So this sequence can provide great relief for those who spent a lot of time sitting behind a desk. Taking our last few breaths here in Seal Pose. Slowly let your arms move out to the side of your mat. Gently rest your forehead on top of your stacked hands and just allow your body to melt into the floor for a moment. Perhaps taking a couple of big sighs. Sighing is a great way to shift energy through the body, so maybe take another one. And we're slowly going to transition out of these postures, bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, tucking the toes, and slowly pressing up and into a tabletop pose. So from this tabletop pose, we are going to move into a twisted dragon pose. So stepping your right foot to the front of the mat. So just check in here. Right foot is at the front of the mat. If you need to grab hold of your blocks and place one on either side of your posture here, you can do so. If you suffer from any knee issues, you can fold your mat over and place your knee on the folded mat just to give it a little bit of extra support. So we're gazing forward in our dragon pose, and then we're going to grab hold of the back foot, so twisting the dragon around and breathing into the stretch. So you can raise your blocks up if you need to, gazing towards the back foot, and we're going to take just a minute here. This is quite an intense pose, so if you're not able to grab hold of the foot, just set intention by sending the foot up, gazing towards the back body. So keep breathing here, another 30 seconds to go. And you can slowly release the foot back down onto the mat. Just allow yourself a moment in dragon. One more breath. And then slowly move your blocks aside as you step your leg back. So we're going to take dragon now on the other side. So you can straighten up your mat. And we're going to step the left foot forward now. So left foot steps to the front of your mat. Once more, just adjust as you need. So if you need that extra bit of support on the knee, then do so. Bringing the blocks on either side of your foot. Allowing yourself just a few moments in plain dragon or just dragon pose, just to allow the body to open. Few more big breaths here. Asking of the body to release. And then when you're ready, we're going to take our twisted dragon. So grabbing hold of the foot and gazing towards the back foot and breathing here. Taking our last 30 seconds in the stretch. And then slowly releasing the back foot, allowing that leg to come back down. Take a last stretch into your dragon pose. And then slowly coming back into tabletop. So allowing yourself a moment in tabletop. Once more resetting the body. And then slowly dropping the buttocks to the heels, dropping the forehead, just taking a moment. Deep breaths. Gently bringing the hands underneath the shoulders, pressing the ground away from you as you rise up. The next posture we're going to take is saddle pose, and for that you can use your bolster. So we're going to start off with the legs forward in a seated posture, finding a nice comfortable seat. You can bring your bolster behind you, run it across the mat, so like that. Don't let it roll away from you. We're going to take half saddle on each side. So we're going to start with the left foot, sweeping the sole of the foot or the heel in towards the outer thigh. The top of the foot is flat. And then you can gently bring your elbows onto the bolster. And you can just take this posture here today. So we're just allowing ourselves to be very restorative and gentle on the body today, being mindful of whatever is presented, taking deep breaths here. If you're able to come down a bit more onto the bolster, you can do so. If you feel you don't need the bolster, you can also shove it aside and come down onto the elbows, gazing towards the right toes, making sure that the knees are close together here and the thighs are touching, and continue to breathe here, getting a lovely stretch through the top of your foot and into your quad, the top of your front thigh around the knee. That's where I'm feeling it today. And just keep on breathing here for another 30 seconds. And you can slowly press yourself back up, gently slide your leg back to meet the right, give your legs a little shake, just take a moment sitting in rebound before you get ready to go over to the other side. So sweeping the right sole of the foot, the heel, in towards the buttock. Once more, aligning yourself Knees close together, and then when you're ready, you can come back onto your bolster or onto elbows, gazing towards the left toes. And once more, breathing here. Moving into our last 30 seconds in half saddle. Taking that stretch through the top of your foot and alongside the quad for another few seconds. All the while focusing on your breath, should your mind wander. Slowly allow yourself to come out of the posture, pressing the ground away from you, extending the leg back to left leg once more, giving the legs a shake. Taking a moment in the rebound as you cross your legs over and come into a downward facing dog. So tucking the toes, raising yourself up. Taking a moment in downward facing dog as you press all four corners of your hands into the mat. Allow yourself to paddle the heels a couple of times, dropping one and then the other heel into the ground. Taking that lovely stretch through the calf, asking of the body to just gently open and let go. And then gaze in towards the fingers as we slowly come up into dangling, which is our next posture. So dangling is the only standing posture in Yin Yoga. So for dangling, you can have your knees bent quite generously, allowing your belly to hang over the thighs, nodding your head yes and no, and just allowing yourself to be here in this space. And holding no tension through the head, allowing all of the stress of the day to pour out of the top of the crown of your head, pouring all the way from the base of your spine, running along the spine, and out through the top of your head as you deeply inhale and exhale. Just continuing to breathe deeply here. Allowing yourself to feel the weight of the head drawing and creating space in between each vertebra. Creating fluidity within your spine. Just continue to deeply breathe, inhaling and exhaling. Moving into the last 30 seconds of dangling pose. Stepping your feet back, flattening the palms, stepping back into a downward facing dog. Dropping your knees and slowly rolling your buttocks back towards your heels. We're going to take reverse prayer arms, another great posture for opening up through the shoulders. For this, we're going to be in hero pose. If this is not accessible to you, you can grab hold of a block. You can separate the feet and put the block in between the feet and then sit on the block. So it gives you just a little bit of height, takes the pressure off the thighs or the legs. So if this is working for you, please adjust and use your block. And then we're going to sweep the hands back, drawing the palms together, drawing the palms up into the shoulder blades, and we're going to take a couple of minutes here. If this is not accessible to you because you have very tight shoulders, just grab hold of the elbows here, and if even this is still not accessible, just interlace the fingers and allow yourself to sit with the hands clasped and the shoulders drawn back. So I'm going to go back into reverse prayer. The beauty of reverse prayer is that it also works the wrists. So it's going to give the wrists a bit of a stretch too. And when we spend long periods of time on a computer or behind a desk, we tend to forget to keep mobility through the wrists. We spend a lot of time texting and on devices. So it's really important to restore that flow of energy once more through these parts of the body. So to become very introspective here, you can close your eyes and you can breathe deeply. Moving into the last 30 seconds here. Gently come out of the posture. Send the hands forward, just palms up for a moment. Allow your shoulders to drop. And gently bring the fingers into fists. And then take a gentle movement through the wrists and back. And we're going to come into supported fish. So rolling the legs forward. Take a moment just to extend your legs, allowing the blood flow back right down to the toes. Grab hold of your bolster. We're going to take support from the bolster by drawing it up into the base of the spine. And we're going to join the soles of the feet here. You can take your blocks if you'd like to make this a restorative posture. So joining the soles of the feet to touch. And allowing your back body to melt over your bolster. And if you'd like to place your blocks underneath your knees here, you can really get into just letting go and really about feeling good in the posture. So Let your breath soften. Maybe take a sigh. And just let your feet press against one another. Your knees are being held by your blocks. This is a truly restorative posture. Just an opportunity for you to check in with yourself, to check in with your breath. Just park the to-do lists, park all of the craziness of the mind aside as you allow yourself to fully be present and in the moment. Moving into the last minute here, just noticing how quietly the breath operates in the background, noticing how the mind has quietened, how the body is supported, how there's length at the back of your neck, your chin is gently tucking in towards your chest. Your shoulders are relaxed and open. You can gently send the feet all the way down to the bottom of the mat. Allow yourself to slowly roll onto one side, shifting your bolster aside. We're coming into the last posture for today's practice, which is a reclined child's pose. So you're going to draw your knees into the chest. You're going to bring the toes to touch and the knees out. So you can either just wrap the arms around, like I've done here, holding onto the hands. Take a deep inhale here. Sigh out on your exhale and relax your shoulders into the ground. Relax your knees out. Toes are touching. No pressure on the body, just breathing here. Checking in with yourself as you allow your body to melt down. The last minute here. Your shoulders are completely melted into the ground. All of your back body is pressing into your mat. Legs are soft and taking the last few breaths here. feet onto the mat. Send them all the way down to the bottom. Draw your arms up overhead. Take a big stretch. And then gently allow yourself to come into Shavasana or corpse pose. Take a little rest here before we rush off into the rest of the day. Just let the whole body sink down into the mat. Taking a few deep breaths. Deeply inhaling and exhaling. Softening your whole body, allowing it to melt down into the ground. Your lower back, your belly, your chest, your arms, all the way down to the tips of your toes are relaxed. Allow yourself a last few breaths here. And then begin to wriggle your toes, your fingers. Taking your thumb and drawing it across the tips of your fingers, allowing your head to roll over from one side to the other. Drawing your arms up overhead for a last deep stretch before gently and slowly rolling over onto your side body, pressing the ground away from you, coming into a beautiful seated posture once more, meeting me back up in easy seat, bringing your hands back into prayer pose, beginning to rub your palms together, generating warmth, and then drawing your hands into heart center. Taking a few more deep breaths here. On your next exhale, bow your nose down to the tips of your fingers. Taking a moment to acknowledge yourself for wherever you are on your journey. Namaste. Wishing you a truly beautiful day further.